there's plenty of ways to flip a video.
Hi Manchester, how is everybody doing today? Wait, hi.
Hello.
All right, today, this is our first art lesson from Mrs. Smith. And our art lesson is going to be based off of the One School, One Book that we're reading together, Fenway and Hattie. And we are going to learn how to draw a Jack Russell. Isn't he cute? So the example is right over there by Ashlyn. And so basically what you're going to need is 1 to 2 pieces of white paper. You need something to color with, so you can use crayons, colored pencils, or markers. You can even paint this. You can have a canvas and you can put it on that. You'll need a pencil to draw with, Sharpie is optional to outline, and a little bit of glue. So when I did mine, I drew Fenway first and colored him, and then I cut him out, and then I glued him to the puppy paw print background, and then I put his name at the top. You don't have to do it that way. You don't have to cut and glue. You could do it all on one piece of paper, kind of like what Aria is doing right here. You want to hold yours up? Okay, thank you. And then Ashlyn, I'm going to hold yours up. She colored hers and cut hers out, and she glued it to a colorful puppy paw print background and also put Fenway's name. So the background can be anything that's up to you. You can do the dog park like in the book. You can do a very colorful background. It's any kind of background that you want. I just like the paw print background. So I'm going to start off by teaching you how to draw the different parts of a dog. And you can think geometric shapes are good to think about when you're drawing. We're going to have some organic shapes in here too. Organic shapes are shapes that you kind of make up. They're found in nature. So let's begin. So I'm going to use a Sharpie. Where's my Sharpie? There it is.
Okay.
I'm going to use my Sharpie to draw. That way you guys can see it better. Because if I draw in pencil, you might not be able to see it on the video very well. So I'm going to start off with Fenway's head. And you want to think about composition when you're doing this as well. That means how are you going to lay out everything on your paper. You can orient your paper. You can do more of a vertical picture like what I did on mine. Or you could do more horizontal, which means your dog is going to be a little bit shorter. So I'm going to hold my paper. I'm going to orient my paper vertically. And to think about composition, you want to think about, is the head going to go up here, and then the body's going to go down here, and then room for the tail. So you need to think about where you're going to begin drawing. Okay? So I'm going to start towards the top, the way I have plenty of room to draw the the rest of Fenway.
Hey, you're gonna need to Bye-bye.
He wants to be part of the video. That was Kahlua, by the way. That was our cat. All right, so here we go. I'm going to start off by just drawing step by step, a little bit at a time, and then I'll hold it up. That way you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to start with the top of Fenway's head, and the side of his head kind of looks like that. So it looks like I'm starting to make a triangle because I have 1, 2, 3 sides, but then I'm going to kind of change the shape of his snout a little bit. So I'm going to kind of bring it down and kind of round it off a little, trying not to make any mistakes because I am using a Sharpie and I can't erase Sharpie. So it kind of looks like that. It's a little indented too much right there, but you get the idea. So that's the shape of his head. Now I'm going to make his ears. And Jack Russell ears, they're kind of short, they're kind of floppy. Fenway's ears kind of come to a point right there. You can do that if you want, but my example, when I did mine, I kind of rounded off his ears at the bottom a little bit. So either way is up to you. So I'm gonna make these a little bit different than my example. So those are my ears. All right, now I'm gonna do the eyes. Now I know a lot of you are really good at making the cartoon eye. You can do that. You can make the real puppy dog looking eyes. If you have the book near you, you can look at Fenway's eyes and try to draw them realistically. It's totally up to you what you want to do for your eyes. So I'm going to draw my eyes, and then I'm going to show you what I did. Do that, please. So I'm going to add a pupil, which is the black dot. And this is recording. Yes, I record. And I'll hold that up in a minute. And then a shine is to show like the reflection, to make the eyes look wet, to make them look more realistic. Okay. And then I'm gonna make a nose. The nose can kind of be like a circle, kind of, and it almost comes to like a point towards the bottom. I'll hold mine up to show you. Now in the example over there by Ashlyn, I kind of made like two little like cutouts in his nose to show the nostrils, so you can do that too if you want. Now from there, I'm going to draw some lines going down his face because Fenway has a white part on his face and like a brownish part. So I'm going to do something that looks like this. Because now I know for later that those two areas are going to be brown and this is going to be white. And then his nose is black. And his eyes are brown. Okay, now for the body. Now you can have Fenway, when you draw him, you can draw him so he's kind of like sitting sideways like that one. Or you can draw it so that it's more of a front view of Fenway, so then he's got his two little side legs like that and then his front. So I'm gonna draw it so that you can see the front of him. So just did that. This just showed kind of like the front of him. And then I'm gonna draw the sides of his legs, like when dogs sit down. Kind of looks like that. And then I'm going to draw his feet. Okay, I'll connect all that at the bottom eventually, but those are his back feet, like what a dog does when they sit down. All right, now I'm going to draw his front paws. So I just drew lines kind of coming down to show his arms. And now I'm going to do his paws. And then I'm just going to connect that line to show the bottom of him. Kind of like that. Very simple. And now you can take time to color him with brown. You can use markers, crayons, or color pencils, or if you're painting this. Brown for his eyes. If you want to use black to color in his nose, black around his eyes a little bit. Oh, his spots. See, he's got one of his legs, his paw is brown. And his tail. He needs a tail. So Jack Russells have these real skinny tails. Sorry about that, almost forgot his tail. Now the spot. So one of his legs has a little brown spot, like you can see from the example. And I did a little research and discovered that there are other Fenway and Hattie books. I think there's 3 of them out there And there are a couple different pictures of Fenway, and I noticed that he also has brown on his back. So I drew a little brown right there on his back, and for fun I added a little bit more on his tail because I felt like he needed it. So you can do that as well. And then after you're done drawing everything in pencil, then you can color him, and then you can cut him out. Now, I've already got a Fenway that's colored, and I use crayon for this example, and he's already halfway cut. So I'm going to cut the rest of them out. And then we're going to glue them to a background. And parents, when your child is done making their Fenway, I would love to see them. So if you could post them to the Facebook page, or you can email them to me. But I would like to see all the different examples of how your child came up with making Fenway. Alright, so there's mine. And I've already drawn a real quick sketch of like a background for Fenway. I just pretended this was the dog park. So I have a tree, I've got a sky, and I've got some grass. So now I'm going to glue. You can use a glue stick or you can use a glue bottle. And when I use glue bottles in my classroom, I always sing this little jingle to my kids, because we like to use dots and lines. So we say, do you know what it is? It's dots, not lots, and when I'm through, I close the top of my bottle of glue. So I'm just adding some dots around Fenway. You can also put a little bit of line as well. We say dots, not lots, and when I'm through, I close the top of my bottle of glue. So I'm done my dots. Now I'm going to close the top of my bottle of glue so it doesn't clog. And I'm going to pick up Fenway with two hands, and I'm going to glue them to my background. Give him a nice gentle pat. And there he is. There's Fenway. And if you want to sign your name on it too, give your art a little signature because you're an artist. And that is it. I can't wait to see all of them. I am going to try to post a lot more videos. I got a lot of other great ideas for kids to do at home. I'm going to try to keep it simple because I know not a lot of people have art supplies at home. So stay tuned for more art projects. Bye, Manchester. Miss you. Bye.
Bye.